Get ready to quit the build.
Here we go.
The QTB crew is rounding up all the gaming news and hot topics of the week with a little extra something. And here are your hosts, Bruno, Brad, and Nick.
Alrighty, what it do? You're listening to the QTB podcast. I'm your host, Get to the Point, Bruno, and with me are the boys of QTB, the brothers McMuffin. That's right, Nonsensical Nick and Devil's Bradvocate. The Brad, the one and only. What it do, gentlemen? I'm gonna give us
There it is.
a nice one of those.
Hey,
How you doing?
Oh, man, it has been a really fun week. Man, just the QTB is humming. We've got so much content just getting thrown every which way that I've been helping out with, and some stuff that I haven't been. You want to talk about, Brad, just some quality content. I mean, just putting...
was that a pun? Do we have a QTB that's humming? Was that a joke or no? Do you get it?
I mean,
like
every now and then I accidentally stumble on a joke. It doesn't mean, that I actually meant it.
QTB? You said the QTB was humming.
Well, I would have said
you know
buzzing.
What I mean?
I would have said buzzing.
Oh.
The B jokes.
Okay.
B jokes, everybody.
There.
Good night.
Yeah. We're already there.
The content is buzzing though, because man, I don't know if you have anyone that's listening or watching this has seen it already. A new long form video that we put out is Bruno of your mom naming different Mario characters. Yeah, and I mean it is a quality 15 minutes of just
mean
your mom
Gene
shooting from the hip and landing more than you might think.
Yeah.
Princess Peach.
She's so close.
Wait for it.
She's so close.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it. I was like, oh, swing and a miss. She's such a good trooper whenever it comes to that kind of stuff. So it sounds like people want more of that. And so we're going to try and make that into a little series with some different things. So if you have any ideas of things you want her to name, let us know. Brad's still
rack it up.
Wario.
He looks like a Gilbert. Lario, yeah.
Lario.
Oh,
Wario.
man,
Get off the Lario.
There's one clip that didn't make it. So there's one clip that didn't make it. Before we started recording, I was having trouble with a mic, and she goes, she's doing test stuff through the mic and, saying random stuff. And I said, now you're going to do a monologue from Judy Blume, which, if you don't know, is a writer. And she goes, oh, Judy Blume. I said, you know who that is? She said, yeah, she's a comedian.
I mean, anything's comedy if it makes you laugh.
We would have got like a 3-minute stand-up set. That would have been amazing.
I should just let her go. Yep. That's what it is. That's what I'm going to do next time.
One time you walked into the bar, like I would have just kept on recording. I just let it fly.
Well, there you go. Well, yeah, Bruno, that video's already ahead. We got Slurpee in chat talking about Rex the Yoshi. And Terry saying, "I want Bruno's mom to be my mom." I think your mom is everyone. I wouldn't say America's mom. I'd say everyone's mom. That's the dream mom right there. It's wholesome content, man. That's what we're all about here, QTB. You love to see it.
I'm gonna give up. Oh, that's just
sassafras.
Sassy.
Okay, well, I had a segue, and now you said sassafras.
Now it's gone.
So, yeah. But no, we're gonna passifaras on that and move on to this week's gaming news, which is, of course, a little bit later. We're gonna be talking about the Pokemon Presents that came out just yesterday prior to us recording here, and then also the Elden Ring DLC that was announced. That's an exciting thing. I think a lot of us were wondering if it was gonna happen, but in the dead of night yesterday, I guess during primetime Japan hours, they were like, "Oh, by the way, DLC, we're working on it." And now the internet's in an uproar, so we'll dive into that. But as always, we're gonna start things off here with a little something called "What You Been Playing," talking about everything that we've been playing this week. Bruno, anything exciting happening over there at the household?
I've just been trying to manage a lot of different games that I'm playing, going through GoldenEye, right? Going through Double O Agent, playing a little bit of Breath of the Wild, some Mario Kart with the wife. I actually finished Toad's Treasure Tracker. What was it? Treasure Hunt? What is that?
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker?
Yeah, there you go. That's the one.
Captain Baby Mushroom?
Yeah, Captain Baby Mushroom. Yes, according to my mom, which I thought was a great name.
Yeah.
But I finished.
Please tell me you were Lario.
Still have yet to be able to play a game with other than Mario Kart, right? Which I do use the Waluigi Wiggler. That's my go-to.
You go back to Mario Tennis, man. The Waluigi's on Mario Tennis.
Okay.
Nice.
There we
64.
go. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna have to see. I have that on there because we have the Nintendo 64 thing and with the what is it? Nintendo Online Family Share? I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
We've got that.
We got you on the family plan. Yeah.
Yeah, that is just that is where it's at. But I gotta say, come on, Nintendo, add some more games to it. Don't be stingy. I don't know what you're doing. Like where the license is at. I thought you owned them. Okay. Maybe they were only one half of the equation. And now they got to get the other half. Like, we got to get these other guys on here.
It's an interesting state that it's in because, you get excited about these new platforms, and I had mentioned this when they initially announced the Game Boy Advance and Game Boy games, but it's just like, I really just want to see them, just focus more on showing some love to these, other platforms. I mean, the NES barely gets the updates, the SNES, and you can see where they want to spread across and get like the framework, but like at what cost and how long is it going to take for them to really flesh out these platforms at what right now seems like a pretty anemic pace. I definitely see where that could be an issue, but Brad, what do you got going on this week, man? Anything fun?
No.
Hey,
sometimes you don't.
Brutal honesty.
So I'll go back to the Mario Tennis 64. Another unlockable character that's not in every game is Donkey Kong Jr. Not Diddy Kong, not Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Jr. is the second unlockable character in Mario Tennis 64. Not a very widely seen character, and he's really good. So again, shout out to Mario Tennis 64. It's a hidden gem. It's on the Nintendo Switch expansion. If you've got it in the family plan, go play it. Go revisit that one. It's worth a revisit.
Yeah, I like that. And I think if I remember correctly, Donkey Kong in the arcades went on to become Cranky Kong, right? That was him like in his prime. And then I think Donkey Kong Jr. wound up becoming the Donkey Kong that we know today. So I think that's how that's supposed to work, right? But just a little mo,
I think
we might have to.
We need like we need a timeline of that, Nick. We need like a blog article or a video or
there you go.
We need a song.
That's how I'm the Schoolhouse Rock of video games, man.
Do we just have our next set of jingles? Do we just uncover Donkey Kong lore that needs to be established via jingle?
Yeah, I mean, I got to do something else. Otherwise, Bruno's going to make me do this in and out jingle. He really wants me to sing about double doubles.
I do, but I mean, throw some aquatic ambience on there.
How would I sing to this? It would almost be like those Pure Moods.
Just vibe to it. Yeah,
it'd be like a Pure Moods commentary,
Donkey Kong.
This is the sounds of Donkey Kong.
Yep, Pure Moods. In a 2 collection.
Barrels.
It's like Colin and Colin and Ryan whenever they do these the collections on Who's Line, it was always like an absurd number of CDs. It was always like hundreds of CDs.
600 CDs with 300 songs. I don't know what the other. There's just a bunch of blank CDs.
But if you order today, you get the bonus cassette.
Stop. No way. Vintage,
that's
baby.
Good because kids don't even know today, a CD, let alone a cassette. The fact that they still threw it in there. So back in the day, chitlins, okay?
Yeah.
Children's. Children, listen up, okay?
Yeah, here
back
it goes.
in the day, we had commercials for music. because we didn't just have a thing like Spotify that existed, or even iTunes. Like MP3s didn't exist at the time, but CDs did. And you know what? MP3s might have existed. That's not true.
Well, listen to this. My wife always gives me a headache. She complains that I only like to listen to like 10 or 12 songs. She's like, "Why do you only listen to like the same 10 or 12 songs?" It's because that's all I had. All I had was a CD with 10 or 12 songs. I didn't get this, unlimited library, unlimited catalog of music. I burn a CD. I had limited space, and you had to be selective in what you put on there.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
that's
true. You had your mixes, right?
Slowly turns into QTV nights every
it kind
night.
of is heading in that direction. Like,
it's always QTV. We're always
let's bring it back, Nick. Let's bring it back.
Forget
you know how we do that. This seems like a winning formulation here.
Well, let me send the reel over to Bruno here. Hold on.
What else is a winning formulation, Nick? What else wins in our environment?
Got me a Marlin. I'll tell you what's a winning formulation. That is our amazing sponsors over at Winner Live Arcade, guys. Listen, Winner Live Arcade's been, you've always known them for the amazing claw machines and mobile games to rack up tickets. But guys, the live trivia is more fun than ever. And the nice thing about the trivia is big jackpots. You don't have to worry about, like, TikTok live trivia's been doing a thing where you split a jackpot like 1,000 ways. Everybody gets like 50 cents. Forget about it. You get it out of here. You win the same jackpot as everybody else when you get all of the questions right during Winner Live Arcade's trivia sessions multiple times per day. So go ahead and download that app through the link in our bio, or if you're listening or watching this after the fact, you can catch that link in the show notes. And also, when you use that link, your first win is on the house. You get to play those live claw machines until you get your first prize. But then stick around for those mobile games and, of course, the live trivia session with myself. We had Joel, a.k.a. Kung Fu Penguin, last week, did a great job. And we've got Enzo, a.k.a. Enzo is Mad, hosting live trivia coming up this week. That's tomorrow, March 1st. So check it out. And while you're there, go ahead and use promo code WhatItDo when recharging your tokens at the pay.app.winnerwinner.com site. And you will get a sweet deal from Dale with a 40% bonus token amount. Again, that's WhatItDo. What it do? Our one and only leader, Bruno's signature catchphrase. Token, on the other hand, I think he just makes chicken noises. That's all he does. So, exactly. Thank you. So check him out today. And thank you, as always, to our amazing friends over at Winner Live Arcade. All right, gang. So we are looking right now at the Pokémon Presents recap. And this is quite the thing whenever we get these announcements. Yeah. Just like Nintendo Directs, you get them on short notice. And so, of course, journalists, everyone's scrambling. You got to be there. It's always at some obscure time of day on a weird day of the week. And this was no different. But the recap is in, and I think we're just kind of going to go down the list here and just kind of give some impressions about what spoke to us. I mean, Brad, you was there anything here in this list of events that kind of spoke to you?
Well, yeah, I think it kind of hit on the, ahead of the podcast show today. We kind of started diving into one of them, right? And that was the I'm trying to look at the exact title here, the official Pokemon trading card game. We got us talking, it's kind of this re-release of the 151 Kanto Pokemon base set. Mm-hmm. And this concept that we're going to have now, a re-release of these base cards with this like gaming dueling platform. And I think that's really interesting because it poses a lot of interesting questions that I think we were starting to dive into, Are they going to look the same? Is there going to be a way to distinguish between these re-released base sets where, the always coveted Charizard has been out in public for years, and now you're going to get Venusaur, Blastoise, Mewtwo. I think even Ho-Oh and Lugia are going to be making card appearances again. So, what does this new base set card release mean? What does it look like? Is it going to be exciting? Is it a trip down nostalgia lane? Is it worth grabbing? I mean, it was interesting to me to see that they're going back down, back to the start. So I'll open it up to you guys. Nick, Bruno, what do you think? Are you excited about this re-release of this base set?
I mean, who doesn't love classic Pokemon? You think about these types of trading card games that have stood the test of time. Very few new competitors have come in the same way, where there's seasons and packs and leagues that really Wizards of the Coast, of course, Wizards of the Coast are behind both Magic the Gathering and the Pokemon trading card game. And what I think we're seeing happening here is kind of like WoW Classic, World of Warcraft, where we're seeing this demand for the originals. We've gotten there's so many cards now. There's so many ways you can play, and mechanics and gimmicks and extra things they've added over the years, that a return to form can be very much popular. And the original trading card game, there was simplicity to it. There was elegance. There was, the Pokemon art wasn't quite as refined at that time. I say that because I did see the classic kind of chonk version of Pikachu in that trailer. I love that trailer too. It's very sleek. Like, it kind of portrays almost like a Go style gameplay or chess, where it's like this sophisticated game of two people going at it. And I look at what Wizards of the Coast has done with re-releases of Magic, and they are more than happy to take legacy cards that haven't been around for a while, even if they're not part of the modern format, and reprint those cards, and take them out of the vault, right? But at a very hefty cost. And I mean, Bruno, I'm looking at what appears to come with this. It doesn't seem to just be the cards, and we're probably going to get more details. It looks to be like a pack with some really, really snappy looking, like a holder for your damage counters, and like a lot of really, really next level things that make this look like a must have for any card collector.
Oh yeah. It is going to be a very expensive, but shut up and take my money. That is the first thing I thought about when I saw this, because
Here's the rundown. Here's a rundown of what's included. You get a game board that folds up to store all the items included in this game trading card game classic set, which includes a toolbox for storing stackable damage counters, poison and burn markers, and metal orbs. You also get the 3 trading card game decks featuring Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard, as well as newly printed cards to go along with the classics. And lastly, you get the 3 individual deck boxes featuring those energy symbols matching the included Pokemon cards, so to store each one of those decks. So it's in what you need entirety to sit down and play that game with someone else, with these specialized customized decks that are there for you, and store with all these really looks like higher end pieces that come, like you said, Nick, in that set. And it all stores within that foldable game board. So Bruno, is this an instant take my money? What do you think?
Oh, 100%. I'm hoping that they're going to first produce enough that there will be a legitimate way to buy this, and that there won't be bots taking over this like there have been in the past few years with that kind of thing. So that's the first thing I'm kind of, hoping for. This is exactly what I've been looking for. I just want the original collection like I had when I was a kid, and I don't want to have to pay $1,000 to get it. And I don't care if they're new and they've got a different back to them. It looks like it's going to come with sleeves, because they're playing every single card with a sleeve. So it's my assumption that these will probably all come with sleeves, as a lot of the new decks do come with some at least basic sleeves for you to keep them in. This is just a collector's item in my opinion, and it's perfect in my collection, right? Like, this is something that I instantly want to get. I'm looking at it and just wondering, like, how many are they going to make? Am I going to be able to get a hold of it, and what's it going to cost? I'm assuming probably around the cost of $200, if not more. That's a pretty conservative price, I think, for something like this. You're getting 3 holographic cards at the very least, Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur.
Yeah.
So I think that's the collection, right? And then to have all of the other basic kind of cards in there. I think it's a great collection. I'll probably try and pick up one for my son that he can open up later, or sell, or do whatever he wants to do.
2 price points jump out in my mind.
Okay.
$249.99 or $499.99. And here's why. $249 still seems palatable to the masses, right? And I think it's justified given that not only you're getting the cards, but you're getting, all the other stuff that I just mentioned included. The question is what is it made of? What are the materials? What's the quality? Are they marketing this to be a premium product in terms of like it's really high quality board, storage, materials, etc.? And I think that could dictate a higher price tag closer to 500. But then it gets into your question, Bruno, about supply and demand. If they're going for the higher price tag, maybe this isn't as a massively produced item, which then gets into that difficulty of obtaining one. Maybe it's something that it's a pre-sale and it sells out within 5 minutes, and it's insanely difficult to get your hands on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be. Again, knowing what the other cards have cost in the past in terms of like 150, 170, I think that 200 is kind of, it seems like a good spot for a starter set of this caliber in terms of what you're getting. You can get similar newer sets for around that same price. So I think that they don't want to price themselves out. You're right. 250 might be a good midpoint right there before we jump up. But I can guarantee you, if you don't land one of these with the pre-order or whatever it is, that you will probably end up spending $500, if not more, for one of these, easily. So it's unfortunate. I think that we've gotten to that point where people know it works and will go to ridiculous lengths to do this, because I think that there are a lot of people like myself who just want to collect it, to have it, right? To be able to, play it and not go and get it graded. I'm not looking to go out there and get a mint condition one and wear it around my neck like Jake Paul and, go boxing somebody with it. I don't care about that, Nick. I just want to be able to like look at it. I've got some Pokemon stuff right behind me, and then there's one right over here. You might not be able to see on camera. You can see it on the full video on YouTube.
Sure.
But it's Pokemon cards. So
the one thing that may help keep the value of this down is that none of the cards, except for the basic energy cards, are going to be legal for tournament play. So I really think that's going to, in some way, not reduce, but limit the demand, because it's not like you want to seek out a Charizard that can be then used in tournament play, or a mint Charizard that it shows up in tournament play. Like, this is just for mass. This gives me an idea that it's for mass consumption for folks just like you, Bruno, who are looking for a bit of that nostalgia, want to own that base set 100%. Because it is the most coveted, it is the most nostalgic, and I think you maybe it's going to be a bit more mass produced.
There's definitely
that's my hope for that.
There's definitely, I think, and I think some eagle-eyed viewers may have caught it, that the different card backs as opposed to the traditional. But now that's the way that actually ships. That could be an indicator that it's kind of meant to be its own thing, and I like that. I like the idea of this self-contained kind of legacy thing. That you can just kind of pop open and play. That's one of the issues of these types of games, is that it's really tough for people to just hop in and play, because you got to have a deck, you got to build it, and then you get into that whole culture and it gets expensive and tough. Whereas, if they just kind of use some of those base sets and, keep it within its own little thing, I would enjoy playing that. I think that makes it accessible. But like you had said, Bruno, hopefully it's not too inaccessible. In terms of the availability. I think we know what the answer is going to be. Nintendo loves their artificial scarcity. Plus, we've seen what's happened with locations like Target and Walmart, a lot of them pulling out of stocking these things altogether because of just the sheer chaos that erupts the moment that they try to put these things on the shelves.
That still leaves for that scalper price, because then what ends up happening is they get sent to these small comic book shops or small card shops who get to dictate the price on there, because they, they're not bound by an MSRP price, right? Or, a suggested price from somebody like, corporate Target, where they're selling thousands of them, across all these stores. They're selling a handful of them. And so you can bet your sweet Bippy that you're going to be paying extra money there for whatever they've got to sell you.
That's a nonsense word. You can't fool me.
Listen, I want to say, like, support these local shops, right? Support these shops. When they price gouge just as much as a scalper, they're no better in that regard in terms of what it's, what they're doing. Like, if something is new like that, they should, hopefully you can get it at a decent price. Like I said, I think you're right with the not being in tournament play. It's going to be something that it's mainly for collectors. I'd like to get two, one to play with, one to display artistically. I think, there's a lot of cool things that you can do with the cards. So, besides wear it around your neck,
Okay. Now, speaking of wearing things, okay, so Caitlin in chat did point out that she is super excited about Pokemon Sleep, and there's a whole lot more to this direct this Pokemon Presents than just that announcement. This is one of the only few new actual apps or games that we really got, aside from DLC or add-ons to existing things. So, okay, we had heard about this for a while. They had announced something like this. And I think we were all kind of wondering, like, what kind of form it would take on. So Pokemon Sleep is essentially this app that tracks your sleep, and there are plenty of apps that do this already. But the idea is to promote a healthy lifestyle by making sure and tracking your sleep patterns and gamifying it in a way so that, if you are sleeping properly, that you can, learn more about the sleep patterns of certain Pokemon, and essentially just kind of work it into your daily routine. Now, here's what I'll say about this. I see these types of apps coming from Pokemon. They developed a similar kind of lifestyle app called Pokemon Smile that I actually tried with my son, where you put it's like an AR game. Like, you put the smartphone so that you can see the camera, and then you brush your teeth, and while you brush, it helps you to catch Pokemon. So that's kind of how they do it. Now, as far as, like, I'll say this, first of all, Nintendo, if you don't make this tagline, gotta catch a nap, you're missing out. Pew pew. You're welcome for the free marketing tip. Number 2, I'm pretty sure that this is not just intended for the kids, because, I mean, look, you look at the gamers like ourselves that grew up with the OG Pokemon. We're kind of at that age where we do like ourselves a good nap.
Oh, yeah.
And if you think I won't be using this as an excuse to make like a Snorlax and park it, watch me.
Well, as somebody who has struggled with sleep and, has to use a CPAP machine, so I don't die, because for some reason I just decide not to breathe while I'm sleeping, right? As one does.
As one does.
You just get so relaxed, you're like, I don't need to breathe anymore.
Right.
So it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. You don't want that. So, I think that getting good sleep is very important, and I think adding something like that is really neat. I only wish I could hook it up to my CPAP machine, because it has its own little game that, like, tells me, like, how much how many instances I had of, like, not breathing throughout the night. So it's like, yeah, you only stopped breathing 5 times. You did a good job.
This is
used to be 30.
Nintendo, can we get a Snorlax in the game that wears a CPAP? Can we make that happen?
Yes.
Wow.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Get one for I want equality. I want it for the CPAP users out there. I tell you one thing, though. Every time I put it on, I feel like I'm going into like what'd you say? Bane?
Like Bane?
Yeah.
Bane?
Sometimes like Bane.
I'm Gotham's reckoning. I would just talk to my wife with my mask on, like.
Yeah.
You're merely a drop
Are
in the
you
dark.
dreaming, or are you having a nightmare? I'm coming for
You're merely a drop in the dark. I was born in it.
Molded by it. That's right.
Molded by it.
Yeah.
No, I feel like a fighter pilot every time, but a fighter pilot who falls quickly asleep as he gets proper oxygen.
Well, I mean, looking at our viewer comments.
Go ahead, Nick.
I was gonna say, we have Caitlin saying I need this to fix my schedule immediately, and I get it. Like it is nice to have something that reminds you, like, hey, you know, maybe sleep a little bit. So we'll see like what direction it takes it in. And even Epic Capture saying, yeah, that's genius. The sleep tracker with Pokemon and anything that encourages naps, I'm in. So hey, you know, I think more people are gonna download this and like check it out than any one person may estimate.
Think about how basic and boring the sleep apps there are out there right now, right? Like they're just like, hey, you got 96% good deep sleep, 4% you were stirring or something. Like it's very just formulaic. Like, can we make it fun? Like, hey, my Pikachu told me I slept good last night. That's awesome. Or, you know, my Charizard said I did not sleep good and he's pissed off. Like that'd be pretty funny. Like, you know, like your Pokemon have attitude with you because you didn't sleep well, so they didn't either. And it's like they're like, no, you need to go back to sleep. That'd be pretty awesome. Like
there's an excuse to not go to work. Sorry, you know. Ditto said
my dog didn't need my homework. My Pikachu told me I needed to stay in bed.
Fun idea.
I'm here for it.
He's like he goes, I'm mad at you. I'm gonna fireball. Whatever.
Yes, the fire smash.
I'm gonna
blast.
All of them. All of them.
Yep.
Unleash the fury, Mitch. Unleash the fury. That's what I call my Charizard, Mitch.
Mitch. Okay.
Mitch. Yeah.
Good to know. It's always fun when you get a Pokemon. Just you know, oh, here's Carl, here's Steve.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I give him a unique name, Mitch.
We don't have time to cover everything that came out in this Pokemon kind of presents. Was there anything else, or do you want to recap it for our audience? Was there anything else on the list that jumped out to you, or what was your kind of overall take of this particular event?
Yeah, I think most people would agree that overall this was a very half-baked presents. Usually, the hope is that we get some kind of announcement of something new. The big thing I think that most people were expecting and did show up was the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. And I'm seeing a very mixed reception to this. So essentially, it's going to be a 2-wave DLC, same as Sword and Shield was. That you'll pay for the this DLC called the Hidden Treasures of Area Zero. And then you'll get that. The first edition is going to come out in fall of this year, and then the second part of that will come out in winter of this year. The thing of it is that I think a lot of Pokemon fans are still very much disenfranchised by the low and very, at times, just unacceptable quality of Scarlet and Violet. There are times playing that game where you will have seen like mediocre PS2 games that looked better than the worlds that are being rendered in this game. We got basically an apology moment from Nintendo. It was like kind of like late last year of like, our bad, we're working on it, we're gonna make it better, hang tight. And then little patches came in here and there, but overall, no. The people that are emulating this on PC and actually like the way the game could be played if it weren't limited by the Switch hardware are seeing the game the way it was meant to be played, and there's an issue there. And so for someone like me personally, when I see this kind of DLC, I treat it the same way that I treated the Sword and Shield DLC, which is you didn't finish the game that you're adding it onto. Why would I support you further and get this extra stuff when I couldn't even make it through the base game? What do you think, Bruno?
There's two types of DLC in the world, Nick. There's DLC that is tacked on after the game to make it feel complete or make it feel as if there was more to the game than there really was. And then there's the DLC that people yearn for and ask for from the developers, the DLC that you get that you just want more of the game. I think of like Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare. That was the perfect pairing of DLC for that game, right? Red Dead Redemption was such a complete and amazing game. Same thing with Red Dead Redemption 2. That's why people want DLC for that game. It's not because Red Dead Redemption came up short. That's the problem. That's what you want in gaming. You want that type of DLC. The DLC that says, hey, here's a little bit more. If you're going to go ahead and make another game out of it, that's fine, but you've got to have a good basis to start with. And I think that Pokemon is really having an issue making that jump from the 3DS, the DS series into the Nintendo Switch era, right? Because the foundation was already there, and they're building upon that foundation on the Switch instead of building, creating it from scratch for the Switch. And I think that's the problem that we're running into. Why they're so limited on that is because they're running this on different. They have to be. They have to be running this on that older type of hardware that or they're developing it on that, right? And I think that this is something that they will easily build upon in the future, but this isn't it. Pokemon fans, hold out for the next one, and there will be a next one, right? There will be a next one. There's going to be another one past this, right? Like it will probably, they've got, what is it? The teal and
yeah, the indigo and all that. Like it's, no, you hit the nail on the head. And we're going to be getting here in a sec about a quality finished game that is adding on DLC and kind of the difference that can make. But before we head over to that, Brad, any closing thoughts on this event overall?
No, I think I'm with Bruno. I'm excited about the Pokemon Trading Card Classic.
Sure.
I didn't even pick up Scarlet or Violet. I didn't. So, I think for me and the Sleep, I'm with our listeners. I'm going to pick up Pokemon Sleep. I'm going to check it out. So.
Oh yeah, how can you say no to what most likely will be a free app? So I'm sure they'll monetize it in some way, but you can't.
But Nick, you know what? Sometimes if you don't get enough sleep, but you still want to be able to be focused and you want to be able to play well, what do you need?
Oh my gosh, well I'm glad you mentioned it because you can definitely use some amazing products over at Advanced GG, guys. They've got the best powders and supplements that are clinically proven to not only improve your game, but also give you the daily boost of energy that you need. There you go, Bruno. Probably an Arnie Palmy. That would be have an Arnie Palmy flavor. That would be the QTB flavor if we ever get one.
Yes, Arnie Palmies.
That's right. And guys, so many great flavors. They've got the melon cream pump. This has been my go-to. It is super tasty, very mellow flavor. You're gonna love it. I recommend it. The cotton candy was also recently restocked, and just so many of these. There's so many flavors. You're gonna find something for you. But it doesn't stop there. They got multivitamin gummies, and even the canned drinks as well. The list goes on and on. A lot of different ways to help sharpen your game, both in video games and in life. So check them out again at advanced.gg. And you can use promo code QTB site-wide at checkout to save 10% on your next order. So check them out. Thanks to our awesome friends at Advanced GG. Love those products. Guys, we are heading into this next story, which is coming from Esquire of all places. I don't think it's the first time we've pulled from Esquire, but they do video game things sometimes. And so they wanted to talk about this DLC. And, right now there's a lot of speculation right now because we don't really know much about this. This is kind of a breaking development, really, which is that Elden Ring, of course, From Software developing that game, has basically just kind of low-key said, in a non-flashy way, which is typical of these games, of, hey, we are releasing DLC for Elden Ring called Shadow of the Erdtree. Under development, will be distributed across all major platforms. They are going to be providing a follow-up report very soon, and that's pretty much all we know about this game or this DLC. And I was just looking just for funsies at the numbers of Elden Ring and where it stands right now as a game. 20 million copies that it sold as of about a week ago, which is astounding, especially for a game of this type. These Souls-like games, typically you don't see that kind of wide reach. Just to put that in comparison, the entire Dark Souls franchise, all of the Dark Souls games collectively have shipped over 33 million copies. So you're talking about one game more than surpassing half of that number and continuing to climb. I mean, Bruno, you had talked before about what it looks like when a quality game like Red Dead Redemption attaches one of the most beloved DLCs of all time, being Undead Nightmare. My thing is, do you think that enough people beat the game to be interested in the challenge this brings? Because if they're like me, you kind of got a little, it's fun, but it's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. They're known for being hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, that's probably my biggest gripe with the game, and I've played a lot of different RPGs lately, and I've got to say that there are a lot of other studios out there that are hitting it out of the park, nailing it with the progression and being approachable to newcomers of these types of series. I honestly, I know that the developer said I think maybe it was the creator said that there's never going to be an easy mode on Elden Ring, but I really think he's missing out. I really think they're missing out on something like that. Mm-hmm. I think that it makes it more accessible. You're right. There's so much of Elden Ring that I have yet to explore because I can't get there because I'm not up now at the right level. I still haven't beat the dang knight outside of the church in the beginning. He's still lurking down there, that son of a gun.
He's still out there.
He's still out there, just galloping around, coming at me, and then I die.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Gone forever.
Not supposed to.
Until I reload the game, and then guess what? It happens again.
That's the beauty of the game, man. You can restart as many times as you like. You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. It's the Hotel California of video games.
No, it's I gotta tell you, it's a really fun game, and I really like the effort of leveling up a character and making them OP, and then going and attacking low level things that you should have done, the first time around. But you sat there and honed your skills, right? If that's the journey that you want to take, then take that, but it still shouldn't take forever, right? There should be some type of progression or something that allows for people to, and this goes for every game. I think this is a staple for every game, and it's called the Busy Adult DLC. And it's basically maybe it's $5 to $15, and it basically unlocks a lot of progression of the game, if not all of it, to allow you to kind of just enjoy the game. Skate did something very controversial back in the day when I think it was Skate 2 or Skate 3 came out. EA Skate, they basically released a Too Busy DLC, and you could pay $5 and unlock everything and kind of just play the game how you wanted to play it. Sure. And I think that's great. I mean, hello, how many people would do that? Right? Yeah. To be I'll level up my character for an extra $5. Call it cheap, call it exploitative, whatever you want to call it. I call it I'm too busy.
Yeah.
Brad, I know you're sitting there smirking because you would take advantage of this too.
I have on other games. There were other games in the past that did that. $5 to unlock all characters and all content, and you could just do it, and you didn't have to beat the modes to unlock those things. Mm-hmm. I think this is a dual marketing, this is a dual strategy approach by Elden Ring. One, so it's been about a year since the game came out, a year and 3 days more or less. Yeah. You're right, Nick, 20 million copies, significant, but how many people have really beat the game at this point, right? So you tease DLC content now with an official title and image, but you don't tell them when it's coming. So it reminds people that they did buy Elden Ring. Oh, you know what? I didn't beat that game. I now need to beat it before the DLC comes. Yeah. So it's causing people, one, to pick the game back up and play it. And two, then you wait a little bit and you say, oh yeah, it's coming out later this year. And then you give people a time frame to beat that game so they are ready for the DLC when it arrives. I think it's a brilliant play.
Hey, I mean, and they're going to take their sweet time, right? That's the one thing we know about From Software, and there's no rush. The game is a masterpiece. They've still got a lot of old school mentality approaches to gaming, like Bruno, you had alluded to there with the no easy mode, right? That's a lot of those diehard studios that don't want to explore more of that accessibility route are those traditional Japanese companies.
I think they should go total NFL blitz. I want like big heads. I want skulls. I want.
Well, people are already modding that in, whether they like it or not. So
I know, but can we get an officially licensed version? You know what I mean? Like every time you kill someone, they cheer and like little confetti. Pops out.
Make gaming fun again. Right? Like we've gotten to this point where everyone thinks that they need to remain in this lore, right? That it has to go with the lore or else it just will turn into Fortnite. You know what? Fortnite's fun. Get over yourself. Okay? There's a reason that people are still playing and it's still one of the most popular games, one of the most streamed games, right? Like, these games are fun for a reason, and it's because they don't take themselves too seriously. Looking back at GoldenEye, we were talking about that earlier, the big head mode, the golden gun, all of those things that were essentially game breaking made the game fun, and it gave people something to do after the game was over. I want to be able to go back and play the game as Invincible or Invisible. Right? Like those are things that will make it fun.
Yeah, I think we're definitely missing that. But you don't see it as much, and it could be an immersion issue. It could be just. I think you're right that it's just a developer stance of like, no, we don't want that in our games anymore.
I don't understand it. You know what I mean? I think it's and Grand Theft Auto does a great job. Rockstar does a great job with the amount of cheats that they put into the game to allow you to do different things like that. And a lot of games in recent years have started to add those back in, those cheats. But I guarantee you, if you want to like grab an old school gamer's attention for any game, throw in a cheat mode and advertise it. Say, once you beat the game, the cheat mode unlocks, right? That's how it used to be. You'd play through the game and then the cheat mode would unlock or the cheat list would unlock, whatever it may be. Sometimes you'd get one per level, different things like that. But, there's different ways you can do it. But I guarantee you, it blows my mind that there's so many smart people in gaming and they're that dumb that they can't think up of something simple like, I don't have time for this BS DLC and a cheat mode expert, list here for everything. Because if I want to shoot rockets, all the time, let me do it. Yeah. Right? If I want to be able to shoot cars out of a minigun, Nick, let me do it.
Listen, you gotta give the people what they want. So obviously, that's someone will figure it out eventually.
The people are crying for this.
They are
miniguns that shoot cars. Miniguns that shoot cars. Nick, I can hear the crowd now.
They're going crazy for it. Either that or they're baffled for how we got from Elden Ring DLC to shooting.
Fun stuff.
Fun stuff. Yeah, there they were.
You know what else?
Yep. What
else people are going crazy for?
What's that?
Our Patreon.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you mentioned it. Thank you, as always, to our amazing Patreon supporters. I'm talking about, of course, our QTB and Fuego supporters like Epic Capture Productions, Matt.Bad, Galen, Courtney, Megan, Ashley, and Andrea, and our QTB Plus supporters. That's going to be Nick, the Dudist Monk, Indie Gamiacs, Alan Abadessa, Mr. Grove Games, the Intergalactic Pinecone, Fluffy Bunny, Terry the Kitten, and Maddie. If you would like your name on that list, tiers start as low as $2 a month. You get those shout-outs at the $5 tier. Get yourself some exclusive stuff like stickers, we got mugs, we got posters, and a whole lot more that you can only get when you're part of our Patreon family. Get our amazing backlog of bonus content, the Nostalgia Vault, you're going to love it. And of course, our new QTV Nights monthly episodes. Check it out again at patreon.com/quitthebuild. The link to get there, just look for that PM logo when you go to the link in our bio. Of course, the link is also in our show notes. Check it out today, and thank you for your support. And of course, thank you for checking out our awesome website. I'm talking about quitthebuild.com, guys. There's so much great stuff happening at Quit the Build. It doesn't just stop or stop with the blogs or the community page. We got our merch page there, or you can, of course, go to qtbshop.com if you want to check out our new designs. Our new merch going forward will be on that platform. But you can use things like our network tab. We talk about this, where you can check out all of the amazing shows in our network. We have an awesome TV and movie rewatch podcast called Gotta Watch. Myself, Bruno, Brad, even some guest hosts are showing up there to chat about the TV shows and movies of yesteryear. Check out that podcast. It's a lot of fun. Evergreen content there. You can check that out anytime. 1 hour, 1 decision. Great Game Pass content. Double DQ wrestling podcast. And of course, our network streamers like Kung Fu Penguin and Enzo is Mad. And even our network musician, Beat It. Check it out. You can't go wrong with all this stuff. And you know what you're going to get with the QTB network. That's the important thing. A lot of uncertainty out there these days with content creators in the gaming space going off the rails. But here at QTB, we definitely have a level of quality and consistency that the whole family can enjoy. Right, Brad?
Well, yeah, and Nick, I know you stay on the rails, and I know you do because you've cleaned them already when you went through the power washing game. So I know the rails are clean, and I know you're staying in them. So,
thank you.
As our listeners know, we saw you clean pretty much everything out there except for my house. So I don't know why I was missed, but it's okay.
You don't want me to power wash the interior of your house, Brad. It wouldn't end well for anybody. There's DLC on the way though, so I do have to go back and play that. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, there
Tomb
we
Raider
go.
and Final Fantasy. Mm-hmm.
Fancy DLC.
Just weird. Oh man. Well, I think that's going to about do it for our episode. Bruno, do you wanna do the thing where you give the people the old 1-2 skidoo?
Yeah.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever
It's been
was.
amazing. What a great Yeah. Well, that's all we get.
That's all you get. Okay.
They cut us off. They
said no more. Licensing
they said
issue.
No more
Yeah.
licensing. So that's how it rolls sometimes. So you just got to move on and
What can you
and
do?
do something else.
Mhm.
You know what I've been watching a lot of? I've just been leaving it on because there's like 5,000 episodes. But you know it, Nick, and I do. You know it's coming.
Oh, there it is.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
To have a podcast with you guys every week, even though I have been extremely taxing on Brad's life right now, we're just gonna end it. For Nick and Brad, I'm Bruno.
For Bruno and Brad, I am Nick.
For Bruno, Nick, and Brad.
Peace out. What it do?
There it is.
Quit the Build.